Well, it's Friday, but okay. Welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. You are watching Daily Dive. It is Friday, December 27, 2024. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis in Guyton, Georgia. Producer Joe is behind the scenes in Banditland, New York. We are live on 12 on Sports via YouTube and X. Subscribe to the 12 on Sports channel for other great shows and live sports. On today's awesome show, as you know, it is Friday, so we will have Professor Adam Levi on the show to hype up week number 5. Also, a fan favorite, Poutine Pat Gregoire, for the betting analysis of 3 games. And of course, Pick'em for week 5, Mike and producer Joe's picks and best bets. Without further ado, we want to let you know this show is presented by tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.numbers12lettersozsports.com. Head over to that website to get your NLL tickets for less. And that website also includes every sport and all your favorite artist concerts, not to mention Broadway and theater. Tickets.12onsports.com. Full disclosure, these segments were recorded about an hour or so ago. So the first one we're going to get to here is Adam Levi. This, of course, is hyping up week number 5. Here is that interview. Alrighty, it is an honor and a privilege to welcome in Adam Levi for another edition of Adam Levi Fridays. Adam, how are you doing, sir? Big week in the NLL, despite only 4 games, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a lot happened, and it's been a very busy one with a lot of things unfolding. But yeah, it was a great 4 games, I would say. A lot of interesting storylines in each of them, and I know that we'll talk about some of the teams and hit on some of those points as we go over a couple of our previews.
You went to one of the games, if I recall, right?
Yes, I was at Rochester for the Rochester and Halifax game, and
That's right.
what a comeback that almost was for Rochester, and to be in that environment. I will say, and Mike, you
Rochester
are.
Rush, right? Rochester Rush.
Yeah, what did I say? Did I say something else?
Halifax.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Halifax on the mind, of course, with everything going on there. But yeah,
Right.
Nighthawks versus the Rush there, and you talk about attendance all the time. And I have to say that, yes, the numbers were not great in Rochester. However, when you look at the amount of people that were there, not only the amount of passionate fans that were there, so many people with flags and jerseys and lacrosse sticks, they're really passionate fans in Rochester. They're there. And so for a group that was that small, the 3,700 or so that was announced in attendance, it felt like a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have like the base of consumers that hopefully spread the word after a while, which is good for Rochester. You're right, though. That game did get kind of close late. The empty netter helped the bets there for a lot of people, though, as well. Let's get into our 3 games this weekend. Well, 3 of the 6. Philadelphia at Saskatchewan. You've got the Red Hot Wings offense, and you've got Frank the Tank. Something's got to give here. It's like immovable force against an unmovable object, however the scientist said one day.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen, man? What you got?
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. It really is, like you said. You've got one of the hottest offenses led by offensive coach and associate head coach Tracy Koluski in the Wings. They've got 6 guys already with 5 goals from Sam Leclerc, Phil Caputo, Olden Katoni, looking like he's an incredible facilitator right now. But the defense and the goaltending, the Saskatchewan Rush, look elite. And that has been kind of a signature of theirs when they've been successful over the last decade. That's what Derek Keenan loves to do, is build from the back. And that defense right now looks phenomenal. The goaltending, as you mentioned, Frank the Tank, has been elite as well. And I remember I was talking with Steven Stamp on our show, Inside the World of Box Lacrosse, or It Wobble, as we call it. Yes, It Wobble. He was saying, is this the time? Is the trajectory now for Frank to really make his mark in terms of elite goaltenders? Because he's, been very good for a while, and he's been in that conversation of consistent goalies. But is he ready to take that full step now he's in his 30s and working his way up within the Saskatchewan Rush? And I think he's proving that right now that he can be.
Yeah, I forgot who mentioned it, but somebody said recently, like, goalies might peak later than we thought they did, and Frank Giuliano was one of the ones who doing it. What was your pick for this game, by the way? I know you got Preston's pick, which is a great thing on Office Pool Junkie.
Yeah, it's Preston's picks. If you haven't made your picks, do so by 5 p.m. Eastern today for this week. Obviously, you're competing for season tickets at the end of the year of a team of your choice. Amazing prize, plus a $51 donation to the Tucker Braver Than Brave Tucker Out Lymphoma Fund. So obviously supporting Tucker Williams in his journey. And also, let me just mention, because I always tend to sidetrack myself, the Dyson Williams documentary that I've been working on with Rich Owens, the Albany Firewolves, Eric Weber, is coming out on December 30th. So the next time that we speak, yes, Mike, you will have seen the documentary as well as the rest of the lacrosse world. We're incredibly excited to have that project come out. The family has seen it. They love it. And we are incredibly grateful for their support. Awesome. But yes, in that one, I'm a guy, I have to say, as much as I love the Philadelphia Wings and the way that they're looking right now, I am a defense wins championships kind of guy. And I have also been tried to be consistent, and Colorado and Saskatchewan have been my two teams where I've really buckled down and said, these are my teams that I think are going to keep improving. So I'm going to go with Saskatchewan for that one. But I think it's going to be one of the games of the week, no doubt.
Yeah, I agree as well. Now you got the Battle for Ontario, which again is already a rematch. It's a little bit of a revenge factor for the Rock. They were so close against the Swarm, but so close ain't gonna cut it when you're 0-3 right now. And the Ottawa Black Bears coming to town. Last time I checked the tickets updates, it seems like they're gonna have a sold-out barn in Mississauga. What's your thoughts for the Battle of Ontario between the Black Bears and Jeff Teat and the Toronto Rock?
Well, I think it's great, especially in Paramount Fine Foods Arena there in Mississauga, to get a sold-out crowd. It is a smaller space. I think the capacity is only around 5,000. So to have that filled, have the smaller barn, get that energy is fantastic. It also helps when you're trying to build a rivalry between two clubs. So we'll hope, and obviously, earlier in the year I was doing a lot of reporting on the injuries of the Toronto Rock, but we'll have to see once the injury report comes out for this week what the status is going to be for most of those guys. Brad Cree has not been an injury decision. It has been a work decision, so that kind of makes it a little bit more in flux of what he's allowed to do. But Ottawa, I had also said this in some conversation with somebody that it's good to see them back on the floor because we have not seen enough of them since the beginning of the season. This is their third game, I believe, Mike. Is that correct? And, for a new team and a new city, with so much hype behind it, it would have been nice to have seen them a little bit more. But as you know, the former Riptide, I was a big fan of those. And I love guys like Larson Sundown and, of course, Jeff Teat. We need big games from Jeff Teat. So I think it's going to be a great game. I hope it's a fierce, intense battle like we want those Ontario rivalries to be. So I think it'll be a good game. But until we really get a full healthy picture of the Rock, I think Ottawa is going to take this one.
Oh, got a season sweep. I mean, like I said, it's early. Do you think the inconsistent schedule might hurt them? Because I've seen that like with the Rush last year, and I would hurt them. It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, there's someone it might have been Graham Perreault had done an analysis actually on the effect of bye weeks in the National Lacrosse League many years ago. And I think that it actually was a benefit to teams and players coming off of a bye week, unless, of course, you were in a rhythm and on a roll, and then you'd be disrupting that. But generally, if you're a team that has not hit that stride and not hit the peak yet, having that break, I don't believe has been an impact. So while, of course, for getting people's attention and wanting people to see the team, I don't think that's going to make much of an impact this early on in the season.
Fair enough. All right, banner night, ESPN2, or if you're on ESPN Plus 15 minutes before, you can see the actual banner raising, but whatever. Rochester, Connor Fields, ice cold Connor Fields, and that's not a compliment this time, against the Buffalo Bandits. This was a close game, another rematch. was a close game going into the fourth quarter in Rochester. What are we expecting in Buffalo?
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that it was a close game up until the fourth quarter there, because I think when we look back at that matchup at the end of the season, we'll forget about that. And also we'll forget about the fact of how good Riley Hutchcraft and the defense for the Nighthawks played in that game up until the fourth quarter and the Bandits turned it on. So
Yep.
that was very encouraging to see. And I actually have a feature on Inside Lacrosse on Riley Hutchcraft and the fact that his time as the starter is now. Of course, we still are waiting to see Rylan Hartley, but as I believe I might have even said on this show, until we have another switch and a goaltender, you got to get behind Riley Hutchcraft, because he is going to be your number one guy. I remember even last week when I was in the post-game press conference with Mike Hazen, he said, you don't have to ask me later in the week. I'm telling you right now, Riley Hutchcraft is going to be our starter against the Buffalo Bandits. So he was very firm about that, although it was great to see Kevin Orleman play well in that relief appearance there, and it helped Rochester. Buffalo,
Right.
though, as we've talked about, they are the cream of the crop. They look phenomenal this year, arguably the best they've looked over the last few years. They just look totally in sync and lined up at every position. Matt Vince, I look, the fact that he's not sharing his secrets of how he can be so healthy and talented at his age, it's getting to the point. It's offensive. It's rude. He should be sharing it with the rest of us. So, but he
No
is.
point.
Yeah, I mean, he's phenomenal at what he does and continues to get better and better. I think it's a Buffalo win with the emotion of the banner raising and sold out barn in Buffalo. Having been in the sold out environment in Buffalo, it is special. So it's something that it's going to be very exciting for those fans. And, Rochester needs a win. They need it badly. I just unfortunately don't think it's going to come this weekend. But it would be nice to see Connor Fields, as you mentioned, who has been cold, break out of that cold streak.
Yeah, I was mentioning, was the injury, but like loose balls have been up, so it's like he's still fighting, which is good to see that it's not like some nagging thing. I know like the one time he scored last week was on the offensive rebound. It was good to see that he was at least trying to do that. So
he does get a lot of rebounds, which is good. He never gives up after he shoots or when another guy misses off target. So he's always there. And this is a very peculiar stretch for him. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but what is it, about 3 goals or 2 goals in the last 3 games? And
yeah, 3 goals in 3 games, I think.
Yeah, so we expect more of him, and I'm sure he expects more of himself. But this happens in sports. He's not knocking himself for a cold streak, and it's natural. It's a part of the game.
I'm excited. Are you going to any of the games this weekend?
Not this weekend, but January is going to be incredibly busy. I've got the Tucker Out Lymphoma game in Albany versus the Desert Dogs, and I am doing a back-to-back the next weekend, doing Buffalo versus Toronto, then Rochester versus Halifax, and then the week after that, I'm doing another double header, another double header where I'm doing Albany that weekend, and then the next day on that Sunday, going down to Philadelphia for that game against. So it's going to be a busy January, taking some time with the family. I've got my older kids coming to town actually tomorrow to spend time with them, and obviously Preston while he's off school. So it's important to have that family time.
Love it. One last thing I want to get to, Lacrosse Matrix podcast, part of Lacrosse Culture Daily. Anything we can expect or anything that we can look forward to recently that you posted?
Yeah, definitely go check out the 2 episodes. I kept very busy during the holiday season. So the latest episode that I had out was actually with offensive coach of the Wings, Tracy Koluski. We talked about his history in the National Lacrosse League, and it's really interesting how many historic games that he has been a part of throughout his career, especially where the teams have been offensively successful. So go check that episode out. And then also earlier in the week, I had an episode with the Saskatchewan Rush's Zach Mans, who I know is one of your MVP favorites. So it was great to talk to him and talk about his hot streak and all the other things about what it's like to be with the Rush in his second year after a breakout year last season and his trade from Toronto. So go check both of those episodes out. They're great listens. And then today, actually, a 3rd episode of the Lacrosse Matrix podcast this week It is going to be Logan Schuss, the former Vancouver Warriors
good
player,
free agent.
Vancouver Stealth. Yeah, great free agent, great team guy. Going to catch up with him, go over his career. And obviously, I know he is still, if anyone's willing to take him on, eager to play in the National Lacrosse League still. So it'll be great catching up with him.
Love it. Adam Levi LAX on Twitter/X and Adam_Levy_LAX on Instagram. Adam, thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Of course. Thank you, Mike, for always having me. Happy holidays to you and the entire Daily Dive crew and your guys' family. Thank you for working through the holidays.
Woo!
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DustPods or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who's ready to make some money? It's time for our betting analysis segment with the one, the only Pat Gregoire of the OTCB podcast. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone involved with Daily Dive, but also the daily listeners as well. No days off for you guys. Thank you for giving me something to listen to at 1 p.m. Eastern while I was enjoying my holiday break. But we're back. It's another week of lacrosse, another opportunity to stuff some cash in the listeners' pockets.
Well, Cool Bet doesn't want that, but sure, we'll go with that.
Sure. Fair enough.
Latest OTCB should be out pretty soon, correct?
We actually took a hiatus this week for the holiday. I know. Teddy is traveling today. Actually sounds like his first flight just got delayed. So it's with the holidays, with his travel schedule, just weren't able to figure out a time. We're also trying to prep for this game on Saturday with some coaches' calls and some players' calls. So it's been a little bit hectic. So no pod this week. Next week we'll make up for it. Maybe we'll get 2 guests next week to double up for what we missed.
I'm excited. All right, so I want to just touch on that game quickly, not from a betting angle, but just because you're going to be there broadcasting the game. What are you and Teddy looking forward to in the Battle of Ontario, the rematch of that game?
We're still waiting to hear what Toronto's lineup will look like.
Yeah.
From all indications, I don't think they maybe are getting anyone back. The only one that I think possibly could be back is Chris Corbeil, which will be a help out the back end. Not too sure if Brad Cree is going to be available for this game. We saw him last game, and I think that really helped the defense. But the big thing is, okay, can Toronto break out of this offensive funk? And on the flip side, how does Ottawa bounce back from getting embarrassed on home floor against Buffalo after such an impressive start to their campaign in Ottawa? So I think it's going to be a great game. Two teams that I think really, really need a victory here at this point in the season.
I also have seen on the ticket side that I've mentioned Adam Levi earlier that I think it might be a sold-out barn for albeit the 5,000-ish people, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it should be. And to be quite honest, like I think expect that all season long, even if this Toronto team does struggle, like 5,000 fans in that building should be absolutely rocking. It's got a low roof. It's a previous OHL hockey arena. I think the Raptors 905 also playing there. So,
sweet.
Yeah, it's experienced. It's definitely not as big as the arena that they were using in Hamilton was, or even Scotiabank Arena a few years ago. But I think they have the opportunity to sell that place out each and every game and have a unique, loud environment for Rock City.
Love it. G League team, by the way, for those of you that don't know about Raptors 905.
Yes, there you go.
All right, banner time. Rochester at Buffalo. The Bandits are 2.5 goal favorites, at least on the DraftKings side of things. Totals at 22.5. Interesting. With this game, we're all thinking Bandits, but what is your betting angle? What are we feeling, man?
Well, it's up to 23 on Cool Bet. I'm reluctant to touch a total here because
I am too.
We know this Bandits team is electric offensively. They're going to want to really put up numbers against it. We've seen them. We saw what they were able to do in that fourth quarter and the first time these two teams met. Rochester, we know with a guy like Connor Fields, how more quiet can this guy be for the rest of this season? That offense is due to break out as well. But with that being said, this Bandits team is giving up just 7 goals a game. The defense looks locked in. Matt Vince looks like he is, mid-season to playoff form for this guy. So I'm not touching a total here, even though I think the Bandits could do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Where I'm going, and I hate doing this in lacrosse, in the National Lacrosse League, I'm taking a -2.5 until Buffalo proves to me that they are not on a different level as everyone else, as we saw through the first 2 games. I'm riding with the Bandits -2.5. They just look like they are poised in all positions. They are motivated. They get a little bit of a rest with a bye week. And the big thing, you mentioned it, banner raising night. These guys are going to be so motivated, so hyped. Banditland has sold this building out. It is an expected sellout. It's an ESPN2 game. We know that a few years ago, Dane Smith and this team were kind of known for teams or a team that wouldn't rise to the occasion. That narrative is done and over. They're back-to-back champs. When the lights are shining the brightest, that's when these guys come out to play. And I know it's different from a championship game, but this is as big as a big game feel as you could have for a game in December. I think the stars are going to be shining in this one. So I like Bandits -2.5.
I love it as well. And I'm also interested to see those player props on the game day of Dane Smith because I'm telling you, he's gonna put up numbers this year. I'm excited for it.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the total because again, I think it was like 15-7, but like the heavy lifting was during the fourth quarter and still went under this. But you never know with this team, so I love that part of it. Stay away.
Yeah, stay away from the total.
Love it. Vancouver, speaking of emotional games, Vancouver at Calgary at 9 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. Calgary is favored by 1.5, probably because their record's 2-0. Totals at 22.5 on this one on DraftKings as well. For me, I'm sorry, man. Calgary is like a flash in the pan right now. I love Vancouver. How are you feeling?
I think the fact that you can get Vancouver at +1.5 is a really good number. It's -133 at CoolBet right now. I like this one to be a close contested game. Look at the way that Calgary has played. They've had comebacks. They've had crazy comebacks. I don't know if they have another insane fourth quarter comeback in their back pockets here. But for me, it's an emotional game for Vancouver. They're in other sports, you hear it in hockey all the time, a money on the board game. Whether it's an ex-coach going against his team or an ex-player, like this Warriors team is going to be all sorts of jacked up going into Calgary, a return for Kurt Milosky. I don't know. +100 is a little bit too rich for my blood, given what we've seen from the Roughnecks. But at the same time, I'm not rolling with the Roughnecks at -120. That's not enough value for me. So I'll take the 1.5, expecting that this is going to be a close game. I also kind of like under 22.5. And I know Calgary, you're playing with fire when you go with an under with them, with how explosive their offense is and how up and down we've seen their goaltending play. But with the way that with the Vancouver Warriors, how they're constructed defensively, and I think the Roughnecks are going to want to really focus in on playing a little more responsibly defensively. They look better defensively against Albany. I'm debating the under 22.5. I'd probably stay away and just ride with that +1.5 for the Warriors, because I think this is going right down the wire, because why wouldn't it? That's what the Roughnecks have done through 2 games this season.
So even if you don't like them coming back, you still like them having a nice little fun time just flirting with losing or winning. I had to tease it earlier in the week that like Del Bianco and like you got to think Milosky might say, like before this game, hey guys, one last chance. What can we do to get this guy? We gotta have it, man.
We need Del Bianco, at halftime running out onto the field like Bobby Boucher at the Mud Bowl, coming in to save Vancouver. Wouldn't that be an all-time plot twist? Yeah, I think there's going to be enough emotions in this game for both sides, though. Like, I know we talked about Milosky, but this is a return to Calgary for Curtis Dixon and Dane Doby as well. Their first game in a Roughnecks uniform at home in the Saddle Dome, home opener. These guys have been waiting for this for a long time as well. So emotions are going to be flying at an all-time high on both sides of the floor.
Love it. I think this is a very heavyweight matchup we're about to talk about here. On Sunday, if some of folks are wanting to watch the NFL, it's up to them. Chiefs are going to 3-peat anyway. So, Georgia Swarm at the Colorado Mammoth at 4 o'clock Eastern. Listen, a battle of 2 teams who have earned our respect, and it's absolutely impressive what Georgia did to San Diego. Colorado, when they're on, is scary. And we talked about Will Malcolm last week.
Yes, we did.
God didn't send him. So what you got, man?
I'm really looking forward to this game. You mentioned it, Georgia unbeaten. You look at Colorado, obviously the one loss, but these are 2 really good teams, 2 strong defensive teams, 2 of the best goalies in the game going toe to toe. I think I like the under 22.
Love it.
I also think I really like Colorado on the money line here. Georgia, since entering the league in 2016 when they moved from Minnesota to Georgia, they have only won in Colorado just once. They have struggled inside that building. So I think last year was the first time that they actually won in Ball Arena. They're 1-5 in their history inside that building. It's a tough building to play. It'll be a Sunday. Yeah, no doubt about that. Although I think the fitness level of that Georgia Swarm team is not going to be an issue. I just think when you look at the way that Colorado's constructed, the way that they play, and the history there, the fact that we're getting Colorado with a plus number in front of there, I really like Colorado in this spot. So I'm going to ride with them. I don't know about money. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're thinking maybe if you want that a little extra juice or the extra goal and a half at -152 a cool bet. Not too sure what it's at the other books. I don't know. I think you're just better off going money line, unless maybe you want to parlay a couple of those, put them together and kind of ride with the dogs. But a home dog, Colorado, I'll take them on the money line +107 at cool bet.
I love when a person affiliated with the sports book says, well, with them parlays. Shut up. I'm kidding. No, and so in case you're wondering, for the bets you just gave us, you said under in this game, but you also like the money?
Yeah.
Let's do money, and let's do plus 1.5 for Vancouver, and let's do Buffalo minus 2.5. That's plus 538 odds. 3 legs, no big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah. I love that. I just put something together here. Maybe it's a little more cowardly, but if you take Warriors plus 1.5, Mammoth plus 1.5, and then the Bandits just to win on the money line plus 298 at Coolbet. I actually really like that. I might put something together for the folks up north in Canada to ride with me with a bet there. We already got our OTZP parlay. Teddy cast his last week. It will be up and live at Coolbet if it's not already up there. Let me see what it is. Bad podcasting here. Let me pull this up real quick. Teddy said, all right, so he's on Colorado money line, just like we are as well. He likes under 25 for the Wings and the Rush, which I don't necessarily hate, although the Wings, that offense is electric. And Albany minus 1.5 against the Thunderbirds. I think it's up to like plus 825 after our booths. So if you have access to coolbet.com, click the exclusive tab and you'll see the OTCB parlay there, and you can ride with Teddy. He's got the hot hand. He won last week as well.
Yeah, we're trying to chase Teddy, okay? But I appreciate the respect there. Darn it.
Of course.
Pat, are you going to get a shot in the butt before this game to like make yourself feel better? Like how? Like,
I'm already gonna go downstairs, brew up a nice kettle of tea, do a little neti pot. I'm sick. You go to all these Christmas dinners and everything, germs everywhere. I gotta lock myself up in a bubble before my next game in a couple weeks, which I'm excited. I know producer Joe is gonna be pumped for that. We'll be in Buffalo in a couple of weeks, but not before the Battle of Ontario Part 2 on Saturday. Really looking forward to that. Myself, Teddy, Ashley will be on the call for that one, and I believe all three of us again will be back in 2 weeks for Rock at Bandits.
Aren't you all a terrific trio? Pat, send our love to Teddy and Ashley, and thank you again. And also, good. I hope you feel good on the call this weekend. I hope you guys have a great call. I know you will.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me, as always.
Absolutely.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future. And polymer stabilization Call 1-833-DustPods or visit dustpods.com today.
What up, everybody? It's producer Joe, the baddest daddy in producing history, here to tell you all about the baddest, daddiest merch store. Go to the link tree in the bios of either our IG or Twitter, and from there you can access merch for the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show on the internet. I repeat, the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show on the internet. We got hoodies for when your girl comes over and wants to cuddle. Just don't let her take it when she leaves. How about a baddest daddy cap for when you lie about how much you hate Mike in this show, but you're still here? We've got beanies so you can do that in the cold too. Guys, what's going to happen when all these moms see you dropping your kid off at practice in this thing? Want to sip like a daddy and feel like a baddie? Check out that mug. 6-time NLL champ Johnny T and savior of my Buffalo sports childhood knows what I'm talking about. Guys, I'm really going to need you to start buying shit because I'm getting sick of doing Instacart. But yeah, go check it out so you can start repping and supporting the brand.
Producer Daddy out.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
As you all know, if you're watching, or if you don't know, this is why I'm telling you this, there is an audio-only podcast version of this show. Head over to Spotify and search Daily Dive. We want to also mention that there is news that I reported / found out earlier, right before the show actually, that Tyson Bell had been cited for assault by the Denver police and who will appear in court next month, for those of you that are still keeping tabs on that. When today's awesome show ends and you're getting tickets to the next game, get them at tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.numbers12lettersozsports.com. You will not regret seeing things live, knowing you got your tickets for a great price, and enjoy the games in advance. All right, it is time for Pick'em week number 5. And boy, this is going to be fun. Because, reminder, producer Joe and myself have been kind of at lockstep for a while, and this week we got 3 games different. So what are they? We both have Albany, we both have Buffalo, we both have Colorado. The 3 different games. I've got the Rock, he's got the Black Bears. I've got the Rush, he's got the Wings. I've got the Vancouver Warriors, he's got the Calgary Roughnecks. Should be very interesting to see where our standings are after this week. I cannot wait for that. And now it's time for our best bets, the best of our picks. I had a 1-2 week. Producer Joe had a 2-0 week. So producer Joe now has the lead in that. So somehow that will not go away for some reason. But the Wings at the Rush, I've got under 25.5. It's 24.5 on a lot of stuff. You heard Pat say it was 25 on Coolback. It's 25.5 on FanDuel, so take it under on that. I don't think we're going to see a whole bunch of offense like people are expecting. I got me and producer Joe both have the Bandits to cover versus Rochester. That is at plus money on FanDuel. And I've got the Mammoth money line against Georgia. I think they're the better team, and I think, again, I'm going to fade the Swarm again. Darn it, I hope they don't kill us this time. Producer Joe, besides his Bandits covering, he's got the Firewolves to cover the Thunderbirds. Halifax seems to be in shambles right now. That's plus money on FanDuel. And, of course, the Black Bears to cover the plus 1.5 against the Rock. So hopefully they only lose by 1 or they win completely. Should be a fun one regardless. I'll be remiss if I didn't show this graphic on a Friday because I forgot to earlier. This has been another edition, another week of Season 3. We thank you for tuning in to this show. And for those of you that tuned in, a reminder, as always, you are the bread, you are the butter, you are the get well soon to my Pat Gregoire. For everyone that comes on the show as a guest, like those previously, like Adam and Pat every Friday so far this year, and those to come, thank you so much for sharing your audience with us, giving us validity and relevance. For Bigo, who's always touching the dials on social media, and producer Joe, the baddest daddy in producing history, I am your host, Mike, reminding you to Follow us on all the social media handles that you see. Reminder, we'll see you next week on Monday. Same time, same place. This has been Daily Dive. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.